I just don't understand why she responded that way. My client said about a colleague she was in conflict with. She'd been going around and around on this for weeks, so I asked her something simple. What if you stepped into her shoes for a moment? From where she's standing, what might she be seeing? The pause that followed told me we were on to something important. Here's what happens in conflict. We get locked into our own experience. We see with crystal clarity what we feel, what we want, and exactly what they did wrong. But the other person's reality, it's almost invisible to us. We don't naturally see what they might be experiencing or feeling. And this limited view keeps us stuck. Without perspective beyond our own, resolution stays out of reach. This technique falls squarely under Marker 7.10, supporting the client in reframing perspectives. Perspective taking is one of the most powerful applications of this marker. And here's what makes it special. It expands understanding without requiring agreement. The client doesn't have to agree with the other person. They just need to see more than their own view. So how do you walk a client through this? Start with a gentle invitation. Step into their shoes for a moment, then get curious. From their perspective, what might they be seeing? Push a little deeper. How might they describe this same situation? And don't forget the emotional dimension. What might they be feeling? Often when clients are dealing with conflict, they're looking at things through only their own perspective, that first-person lens. By looking at that same conflict from a different perspective, the client gets new information to work with. What does this actually accomplish? First, it creates empathy without requiring agreement. Understanding another's view doesn't mean abandoning your own position. Second, it surfaces new information. Clients often discover pressures, constraints, or contexts they hadn't considered. I had a client in conflict with her boss. When she stepped into his perspective, she realized he was under enormous pressure from his own leadership, something she'd never thought about. That didn't change her position, but it completely changed her approach. Third, it makes the way forward clearer. With fuller understanding comes more strategic, effective options for resolution. Now let's talk about where coaches get this wrong. First mistake, forcing the client to adopt the other perspective. Never say, you should see it their way. That invalidates their legitimate experience and shuts down exploration. Second mistake, using perspective taking to manipulate. This tool isn't about getting the client to back down or give in. It's about expanding their strategic options. Third mistake, introducing this too early. The client must feel fully heard in their own view before they can genuinely explore another's. Timing and tone matter as much as technique. Here's what this sounds like in a real session. What if you stepped into her shoes for a moment? From where she is standing, what might she be seeing? If they describe this situation, what might they say? And here's the key insight I want you to hold on to. Understanding the other view does not mean changing your position. It changes your approach, your strategy, your effectiveness. Sometimes when clients see from the other side, the conflict becomes clearer and the path through it becomes obvious. So let me leave you with 3 things. First, first-person perspective is default, and it's limiting. In conflict, we naturally see only our own experience. Second, invitation creates empathy and insight. Stepping into another's lens reveals new information and possibilities. And third, understanding is not the same as agreement. This is about expanding strategic options, not abandoning your position. Reframing is one way coaches bring value beyond questions. But there's more: observations, insights, even sharing our own knowledge. Next, we'll explore how coaching is more than asking when done right.